All right, we're looking at pages 32 and 33 of the 5th grade ELA recovery packet, and it's looking at context clues. Context clues are those words or phrases that help us figure out the meaning of words that we don't know the definition of. And you're going to come across words like that all throughout life. So even though this is a good skill for middle school and high school and college, it's just a life skill in general. So they have a short little paragraph. They have 3 words that they want us to determine the meaning of using context clues. So it says, determine the meanings of fleeting, empirical, and panacea. Then underline the words or phrases that helped you determine their meaning. Now remember, context clues are words and phrases that help us determine the meaning of a word we don't know the definition of. They may be in the sentence with that word, or they may not. They may be in the sentence before or after. Some fads are fleeting, but more than a few people feel that superfoods are here to stay. The idea of superfoods isn't new, but the amount of empirical information we have about them is. Scientific observations and tests offer some advice that certain foods can help people stay healthy. Nobody claims that these foods are a panacea. Nothing can guarantee perfect health or cure every disease, but they can be part of a sensible diet. To the side of this paragraph is a little helpful hint. I always told you in the I Ready book, if they give you a hint, read it. And it says the phrases as a result of, because of, and thanks to all signal cause and effect relationships, which we wrote about when we wrote about the impact of Europeans on Native Americans. Words such as but, to, also, and as well as also indicate comparisons. Sort of. But is a contrasting word. So when they say comparisons, think about comparing and contrasting. Comparison is looking at similarities. Contrasting is looking at how things are different. That's important. That's going to help us right away. So the first sentence says, some fads are fleeting, comma, but more than a few people feel that superfoods are here to stay. Where is my contrasting word? It's the word but. So I'm gonna kind of put my finger over the word but, and I'm going to look. It says, some fads are fleeting. But, so that means whatever I read after this is going to be the opposite of what I've just read. So some fads are fleeting, but, or however, opposite this, some more than a few people feel that superfoods are here to stay. So people think that superfoods are not going to be whatever the meaning of fleeting is. So they say superfoods are here to stay. That's my key. That's going to help me. Superfoods are here to stay. So here to stay. Now, does that mean that's what fleeting is? No. Fleeting is going to be the opposite of this clue because of the word but. So if superfoods are here to stay, and fleeting means the opposite of that, what does that mean? Fleeting means something that comes and goes quickly. It doesn't stay. So I'm going to write above fleeting. Doesn't stay. It doesn't stick around. Okay, the next sentence. The idea of superfoods isn't new, but the amount of empirical information we have about them is. Okay. This is where knowing parts of speech is helpful. And actually think about prepositional phrases that we've already had to do. The prepositional phrase that we see, the word empirical is in a prepositional phrase. Of empirical information. Of is my preposition. Information is the object of my preposition, and that means it's a noun. So empirical is an adjective. It's a word that modifies the word information. What is information? Information would be pieces of text that inform, that teach the reader or the viewer something. So we're looking at some type of information. Empirical is some type of information. There are no words in this sentence that's going to help me figure that out, so I'm going to have to go to the next sentence to find my context clue. Scientific observations and tests offer some evidence that certain foods can help people stay healthy. What words or phrases there relate to information? It would be scientific observations and tests. Those are types of information. So if those are types of information, That's going to be my context clue to help me figure out what empirical means. So observations and tests offer some evidence. That's the information. So empirical would mean something that's observable. It's not something I just make up. Empirical information is information that someone has observed and tested, and therefore they know it's true. It's not logic. It's not me sitting there thinking, okay, well, I think this is the way, I think this is the answer. Empirical means we've tested it out. It's scientific. So observations and tests would be what I'm going to underline, because that's my context clue. I'm going to write above empirical. I'm going to write observed, comma, tested. Okay, nobody claims that these foods are a panacea. Nothing can guarantee perfect health or cure every disease, but they can be part of a sensible diet. This is one of those words in 5th grade I would have butchered and would not have pronounced it correctly. And remember, you don't have to pronounce words correctly when you're reading to figure out the meaning of them. There are words you're going to know the meaning of and you don't know how to say them. And that's okay, because that's not a word that we use every day. So nobody claims that these foods are a panacea. Nothing can guarantee perfect health or cure every disease, but they can be a part of a sensible diet. So nobody is saying that superfoods are this word, panacea. Okay, but they can be part of a sensible diet. Well, besides being a sensible diet, what are people saying that the superfoods are not? They're not a cure for every disease. That's what a panacea is. It's a cure. So I'm going to underline cure. And that's why I'm going to write over panacea. It's a cure. So I've used the words around these words that we didn't know the definition of to figure out their meaning. Okay, now let's look at page 33. For centuries, and it wants us to read the paragraph and answer the question. For centuries, people in coastal areas of China and Japan have harvested a superfood found in marine environments. Recent studies show that eating seaweed seaweed protects against infection. It also might reduce the risk of serious diseases and extend people's lifespans. If true, these would be important benefits. Question 1. What does the word marine mean in this paragraph? Okay, so is it very nutritious? Is it dark blue in color? Is it having to do with the ocean or a member of the armed forces? Now, I know we live in a military base, but there's nothing military about this. So we should be able to figure out that A and B don't make sense, that the answer would be C. Question 1 on page 33 is C, having to do with the ocean. Which two words from the paragraph help you understand the meaning of marine? So which two words that they join together in A through D on question 2 would help you figure out that it has to do with the ocean? And the only one that makes sense would be B, coastal and seaweed. All right, for questions 3 and 4, we have another little paragraph. Closer to home, you can find superfoods right in your garden or local store. Think crisp and crunchy. Cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, and kale detoxify harmful substances. As a result, they may help to prevent some forms of cancer. These veggies are also low in calories and have lots of vitamins A, C, and K. What does the word detoxify mean in this paragraph? Okay, so we know it's going to do something to harmful substances. Would they want you to eat it if it was going to harm you? Probably not. So it's probably not going to have the meaning of that. So would it be A, to move in a wide circle, B, to chew food slowly, C, to make a difficult decision, or D, to remove bad effects? And I think we should all know the answer is D. All right, question 4. Which two words from the paragraph help you understand the meaning of detoxify? So now we know it has to remove bad effects. Which of these would help me understand that it's going to remove something that's bad? Well, what word do we see that's usually bad? That's the word cancer. And for B, it also says to prevent. So we're going to stop something. We're going to stop cancer. Would that remove something bad if I'm stopping cancer? Yes. So we're going to put B for question 4. All right, we're going to stop there for today. Hope you guys are making progress. We're over halfway through, and we're going to try and finish this up so that way you guys can raise your letter grade by 1. Hope you guys are doing good. If you're watching in real time, have a good weekend. If not, Continue to get this complete, and let's try to get this turned in by the 14th. Bye.